number one source. Sports Card Nation. The hobby is the people. Sports Card Nation.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 334 of Sports Card Nation. We are back again with legendary artist Dick Perez, acclaimed director Marq Evans. This is a continuation of our conversation from last episode. The new movie, The Diamond King, is out on any platform you can download or purchase a movie. This is the final cut version. So even if you saw an earlier preview, whether it be at the National like I did in Cleveland last year or somewhere else, this will be slightly different. Not completely different, but a little bit different. So whether you're a baseball card collector, Diamond Kings fan of Dick Perez's, fan of Marq Evans, go out and see this movie. I'm happy to be a backer. You'll see my name in the credits at the end, and it's just well done. Marq is excellent at what he does, and while I knew a lot of stuff about Dick Perez, or at least I thought I did, this movie really sort of peels back the layers, and we get to see some of the inner workings and learn about Dick the person, Dick the man, and that was pretty cool, and even emotional. I won't give out why, but it got me a little choked up seeing it in Cleveland. So we're back again with Dick and Marq today to talk about the process, the hobby, and all that fun stuff. So quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with Dick and Marq.
Hobby Hotline is the hobby's only live interactive call-in show. Join some of your favorite hobby personalities every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, to discuss the hottest hobby topics. If you miss us live, catch us after the fact on all major podcast platforms. Follow us on socials at Hobby Hotline.
Here is our conclusion of our conversation with artist Dick Perez and filmmaker Marq Evans. This question, my friend, when I told him I was going to be talking to you, Dick, who's a collector, he wanted me to ask you this. And after he told me the question, I thought it was kind of like, obviously you're uber talented. I'm sure no one gets you super thrown up. But is there a particular athlete or player that gives you difficulty in drawing and painting more over another one that sticks out? Or
Yeah, just the good-looking ones. You want to paint Yogi Berra all the time. Or Hank Bauer. I have problems with getting exact likenesses of men or women who have pretty perfect figures. Noses and eyes and what have you. You want something that you enjoy, copying and getting a laugh out of.
Yeah. That question came from someone who can't even draw a stick figure, by the way. So there you go. Marq, has in doing this film, obviously you're not new to filmmaking, but maybe this is a new genre with the hobby. Is it something maybe you want to revisit at some point again, whether it be a biopic or just maybe a hobby film in general? We're starting to see a few more kind of be made and whatnot, but is that on your mind that maybe this is something you'll revisit?
I do remember at one point during the process of making this, and it was probably during baseball season, I was reading just baseball books and everything was just baseball, and I thought maybe I'll just make a bunch of baseball movies because I just enjoy it. So if anything, I could see additional baseball related subjects. I don't know though. There's not like the perfect idea for a baseball related film right now, but I would certainly be interested in doing. I take that back. I've got one loose idea that's probably going to be 15 or 20 years away, because it takes collecting stories throughout the history of baseball, and it takes reading hundreds and hundreds of books, of baseball books, in order to get to where I want that project to be. So that might be something, 2 decades from now. but just the subject of baseball is endlessly fascinating. Dick talks a lot about how it's the best, collectible sport, because it goes back to the 1800s, and
Yep.
and I think that's very true. And so many of my favorite stories are just reading stories that of the early days of baseball are endlessly fascinating.
One of the other nice benefits of this film being made, obviously, other than the film itself, which is great, is we've got some more, Dick Perez artwork being done as part of support from the film. Some jumbo cards, some regular size cards, which I'm a proud owner of. Was talk about, and this goes for both of you, like, was that something early on you knew that would be, or did that kind of just, the light bulb kind of just went off? And for Dick alone, like, what was that process like? You've done obviously artwork before, but now it is part of a movie release and that sort of thing.
You want me to
I don't know
answer that?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I think that the purpose of projects that we did were to finance the film, help finance the film, because all those trips he was making to the East Coast and hotels and what have you, I mean, something's got to be done. And it gave me an opportunity I like right now I'm working on a very large painting of Scott Rowland, who is one of the new inductees to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I've got a collection of paintings at the Citizens Bank Park, home of the Phillies. And I hadn't really painted anything baseball until that. I mean, aside from the film, I didn't have a project yet. And I think I almost finished it today. It looks great.
Well, I mean, again, the work that is aligned with the film is as all your stuff has been great and terrific. For you, Mark, was that something you thought would be an idea, or it just kind of came along where you're like, hey, I'm doing this film. It's about Dick Perez. He's obviously a renowned artist. This sort of just kind of makes sense. Like, where did that come in the process?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. I knew I wanted. I thought it was important to see his process of starting and then eventually completing a painting in the movie. I just thought people would be interested in seeing what his process is, and I was interested in that. And so we decided on that, and you'll see that in the film on an Aaron Judge painting. And so he started an Aaron Judge painting, and he ends up scrapping that painting that he'd started because during the course of making that, Aaron Judge hit the record-breaking home run number 62 a couple seasons ago. So he decided, well, I'd rather do that painting because that's historic. And so we see his process of starting one Aaron Judge painting, scrapping that, starting another one, and then ultimately completing that. And so that was an early idea that we wanted, like, to see him painting, see him painting something that fit with the movie. And then I can't remember how the Diamond Immortals card set, which I think is just an awesome card set, 25 players from spanning the history of baseball through Dick's work. I think it might have been Dick's idea when we were doing the Kickstarter. What about a new card set? And originally I think it was going to be existing art that he had, but then we thought, well, we'd like Ohtani to be in the set, so we painted a new Ohtani. He wanted Tom Seaver to be in there, but he maybe wasn't happy enough with the one, previous one that he was going to use. So he paints a new Tom Seaver, and then he paints a new Babe Ruth, and then he paints Julio Rodriguez, and then he paints a new Roberto Clemente. And so that's just Dick, that's just the prolific artist that he is. And so that was awesome. It was awesome to be part of that, see those paintings. And I think there's some of his best work. I think, I've told him this many times. I think he's doing some of his best work right now. He's got a new series that he's been making of Hollywood legends. So these people, for the most part, are a little bit more beautiful than some of the baseball players in the past. But he's doing a good job with those too. So and again, I think those are some of his best works. Of you're talking Hollywood, just like baseball, from the beginning days of movies until now. It's what he's doing. So. Yeah, it's really awesome and inspiring to see him work as a creative person and to be able to learn from him.
Yeah, no doubt. I saw the film at the National in Cleveland. That rendition of obviously well done, and loved it. It's a movie about Mr. Perez. It's a movie about his life sort of work and the person, but it's also the thing I took from it is and I don't want to give away the whole movie, but a lot of people, you came over from Puerto Rico as a young boy on a plane by yourself. I'm 52 and I'm scared to fly by myself, right? So you come as a young boy on the plane to New York, and you wanted to be a ball player yourself. That didn't work out, although I think Plan B was pretty good too. But the thing I took away that I said to myself for people watching it, right, is that follow your dreams, right? You can do whatever you want to do. Maybe not. I wanted to play Major League Baseball too, so Dick, don't feel bad. We're in the same boat there, but I can't paint, so that's why I talk. But I when the movie was over, I just said, and it affected me a little more emotionally than I actually anticipated. That caught me a little off guard. But I remember saying, the little voice that we all have in the head is that this, anyone that sees the film, whether you're regardless of age, right, it should show you that chase your dreams. Maybe you hear no sometimes, but keep pressing on. And things can happen. And while you're not a baseball player, you're involved with baseball in a big sort of way. And I think that's just a testament to both of you gentlemen, right? I think for Dick, the perseverance to do what you want to do, and for Mark, just making a great film that sort of illustrates that in itself, almost like a painting in film form. And so it might be it might be a little bit of a baseball movie. It might be a little bit of a biopic, but I also think it's educational in that way that chase your dreams. Don't let the first no be the only no you necessarily hear, and keep going. You never know when that break might come that catapults whatever you're doing. And it doesn't even have to relate to being an artist. Be whatever career that you're in. I mean, thoughts on that as a filmmaker and as a subject for both of you gentlemen.
Yeah, well, I think you're right on, John. I mean, obviously, I think baseball fans will love the movie. I think collectors should love the movie. But I hope it goes beyond that, and people are inspired by Dick's story. And that was really what I wanted to get across, is just to tell this inspiring story about learn about this artist and his life, and we can all learn from it. And I agree with you too, as far as just like sometimes you just got to stay in the game. You gotta and you can create your own luck. And Dick talks about like the luck of meeting certain people, but of course, then when that opportunity was there, he completed every single painting on time and at a high level, and always did what he said he was going to do. So we all can use a little luck, and then you got to do great work once once you have that.
You are listening to the Sports Card Nation podcast. We'll be right back after this break.
Hi, I'm Isaac Albert, a longtime card collector and the co-founder of the Penny Sleever. My wife and I started the Penny Sleever with a simple premise in mind: to offer collectors top quality supplies at fair prices. We offer a full range of hobby supplies, and we'll get them to you fast. Whether you're looking for a 260-point magnetic for that oversized patch card, or a slew of semi-rigids for your next PSA submission, the Penny Sleever has you covered. Shop now at thepennysleever.com and use the promo code SCNation to get 10% off your first order. That's SCNation for 10% off at thepennysleever.com. The Penny Sleever. Top quality supplies, fair prices.
We are back.
I'm sure for you, Mark, as a filmmaker, right, when you were first starting out, like I'm sure you've got no's or we don't like this idea, and right, you had to press on, and it might be a little bit easier now because you have a track record and
never gets easier, all the time. So all the time, seriously, like, I mean,
a little bit, maybe a little bit easier.
So
But
I teach film also at college
yeah,
here where I live, called Olympic College, and I have students that they like. I have to remind them sometimes, like, look, David Lynch, who just passed away, last month or the month before, he died not being able to get films made, and he's one of the most acclaimed filmmakers of his generation. And so it's a tough industry, and yeah, it gets a little bit easier. Doors open for you, but you just gotta, whatever you're doing, like you said, is just not give up on it, because there are opportunities that you can make for yourself.
yeah, Dick, just kind of speak to the takeaway of that. You should never really give up on your dream, and it's not always going to be easy. I think that was highlighted in the film, that there's tough times, and you got to like kind of keep plugging, and you maybe catch your break. So like Mark said, sometimes it might be a lucky break, but it doesn't matter, right? Sometimes that's what you need. Just for you, I mean, was that something you just in your genes, kind of like in your makeup? Talk about that for you personally.
Well, I think that I was very fortunate in that I was doing work, not painting, but doing work for the Phillies, for the Eagles, and art for the Baseball Hall of Fame. I took advantage of that. I worked my butt off, and I think did some pretty good work. And one of the things that I that no one knows about, or is that my research for a human product of even a Yogi Berra. I want to see a new Yogi Berra. My research, and it's a lot of fun going through, especially now with computers, where you just go into sites that have dozens and hundreds and thousands of images, and I also don't like to necessarily. Sometimes you have to do it, but you don't want to. I just don't want to copy a photo. I mean, I enhance it. If it's a black and white photo, it's in color. I do. I mean, so you do so. You do contribute something to it. But I like to create my, and I can take the head of Dick Allen and put him on the body of somebody else, or the background, change the background. You invent. You come and I kept doing that all the time, so that what they saw, I want what you see, something you've never seen before. And that's the way I do it.
Yeah, it makes it original. You put your own personal spin on it, and much like sometimes we even see, like with artists, right? We can tell the style and know who that particular artist might be, and that's sort of their signature, if you will. Well, gentlemen, this is, I mean, I've sort of been a small part for this for 2 years, but it's been a great honor to have you guys on the show, to talk to you in person. And like I said, that's not lip service. Dick, that first Diamond King made me look at another company other than Topps as a kid from Brooklyn, New York. And
That's great.
glad that it happened. Wouldn't change a thing about it. And I think, like I said earlier, I think a lot of people have similar stories. And if you would have told, that 11-year-old kid then that, hey, maybe 40 years from now, you'll be talking to the gentleman that did this and turned your head, I would have probably thought you were out of your mind. But here we are, and 4 times at that. And like I said, each of these has been a privilege and an honor and a thrill, and glad I get to do it. And so thank you. The film is great for those that haven't seen it yet and are going to. If you don't love it, I don't know what your problem is. I just say that it's because it checks, like I said in some of the questions. It's a baseball movie, it's a hobby movie, it's a personal movie, and it's an educational movie. It's a lot of things kind of wrapped up into one, and it's well done. And glad to be a very small part of it, but just the same. I'll give you guys kind of the final word here. April 25th, this has come out. You may be hearing this, and we're a week into it. Go out there and download it and watch the film, and that sort of thing. But I'll let you guys have sort of the last words.
Dick, you want to start?
Well, I'm glad I met you.
Yeah, hey, me too. Me too. And
I'm always
well,
asked, in my Q&As, I'm always asked, what did you think when somebody come up to you and they want to make a movie about you? What am I going to say? I say, yeah, of course.
Well, let me ask you this. One last question. Now that you're a movie star, have you thought about doing any kind of action films?
Yes. Yes.
One thing I found out is, Dick is a great lover of movies, and he's got this new project where he's painting Hollywood legends. But him and some friends go to a movie together almost every week, or maybe even every week, and have for a long time. Dick and I and our cinematographer Jason Rourke, we were on a shoot somewhere in Pennsylvania, and we went to Barbie together when it came out. So Dick is a big. It was just the three of us dudes.
Yeah.
And going to see Barbie. And so he's a film lover. And when I did call him that first time, he was very intrigued, and we just hit it off right away. And that's what made this process so enjoyable. Dick's somebody, I hope we're in each other's lives, forever. And I'm sure we will be, beyond just this film coming out. So that's been the most rewarding part. And then this film will last forever. His art's going to be, out there forever. And so will this film. So we're excited to share it with more people. Again, when you have these like sneak peek screenings, you've got to be there. But now available digitally, April 25th. I'm just excited for more people to learn about Dick and his story. We've got a pretty fun opening week planned too, where there's going to be kind of bonuses and giveaways for people that buy it and rent it. So anybody that rent that first week, they can send proof of purchase, so just like the receipt, basically, to proof@thediamondkingmovie.com, and they'll automatically get a download link to JPEGs of all 405 Diamond Kings that Dick did. They're scans from his personal collection. So people will get that, and then people that buy the movie, which will be like $12.99, they'll get the Diamond Kings plus automatically entered to win all kinds of different rewards. I've got some Dick Perez prints here from the movie that I'm going to give away. We've got some of those jumbo card sets that are in a box that Dick autographed. Also comes with John Ortiz, our narrator. He autographed a card of his too. So free giveaways that people can enter into, in addition to getting the movie.
Yeah, no doubt. Dick, we'll let you have sort of fun this whole, just kind of your thoughts as the premiere comes out, and being a movie star now.
Yeah. I think one of the accomplishments for sure, but an important one was that the reason I got into that genre of painting sports was because I wanted to bring art back to sports. And this movie, proof of that it happened, and it was enjoyed by the many people. And not only that, it made a company successful that just joined the group of baseball. I mean, that to me, that my work, because that's what I hear all the time with these letters that I get, is that they switched to Donruss. Well, they bought Donruss also, in addition to double their spending money. And, so I look at it as I achieved what I set out to do.
And I'll close with this too, guys. I think with maybe a young person that sees this movie who doesn't know who you are yet, they'll learn, right? And they'll learn not only that of your work and your impact on the hobby, but again, what I said is that, hey, perseverance pays off in the end. So this is just on different planes and on different levels. I think this movie's going to be great. It is great, but I think for people who haven't seen it yet, I think that impact is yet to come. We haven't even seen the impact, the true impact of the film. I think because there's a lot of younger kids in the hobby that will learn, about the greatness of Dick Perez and the greatness of the filmmaking of Marq Evans as well in the process of it. So that's going to be fun to see that, for years to come.
John, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Okay. See you again.
All right, man. I know that wasn't their first time on the program, but really enjoy talking to both those gentlemen to learn their processes, how they go about doing the great work they do, chopping up some hobby with them. And now, the completion of the movie is done. The movie is out, and maybe you've seen it already. It came out last week. If you haven't seen it yet, it's The Diamond King, and it's an excellent film. And, I think even if someone wasn't a hobbyist or a collector, I think the film's that good. I think it's you don't have to necessarily be a hobbyist or a collector to enjoy it. I'm sure that helps, as I am one, but I don't think that's a prerequisite to enjoy the film. So if you haven't seen it yet, I don't know what you're waiting for.
Time for our Hobby is the People Announcer of the Week.
This is Card Killer. Remember, the hobby is the people.
If you'd like to be the Hobby is the People Announcer of the Week, do a WAV or MP3 file and send it to sportscardnationpc@gmail.com.
Iron Sports Cards is your #1 source for all your PSA and other grading submissions. Their elite status improves turnaround times. Heck, they even provide the card savers. Their chat rooms provide updates on all your submissions. They also offer wax options and single cards to cover all the bases. Check them out on Facebook at Iron Sports Cards Group or on the web at ironsportscards.com, or even give them a call at 1-877-IRON-PSA. Rob's got you covered.
For nearly 50 years, Sports Collectors Digest has been the voice of the hobby, bringing you comprehensive coverage of the sports collectible industry. From industry news, auction results, market analysis, and in-depth stories about collectors and their collections, Sports Collectors Digest has everything you need to know about the hobby. SCD is also your leading source for listings of sports collectible dealers, card shops, card shows, and the latest from the industry's top companies. To check out all the latest news or to subscribe to the hobby's oldest magazine, visit sportscollectorsdigest.com or call 1-800-829-5561.